Here we go again, and it's a playbook. Unfortunately, those of us who are in this committee are all too familiar with. And I call it SMID. Smear, insinuate, distract, damage, and try to destroy. We saw it with the Benghazi tragedy. We saw it with Eric Holder. We saw it with John Koskinen at IRS. We saw it with Lois Lerner.
This is oh so typical of the way leading members of the Democratic Party behave. The lies, smears, half-truths. Let's take Benghazi to start with. Benghazi was carried out on the anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. And Hillary Clinton, who was then Secretary of State, chums, decided that the cause of this was a video posted on the internet. Nothing to do with them. Nothing political, in other words. This was because the timing would have been very embarrassing for them. Judicial Watch investigated this scandal using Freedom of Information requests, and it was Benghazi that led to the uncovering of Clinton's private server and her emails, and she infamously destroyed 33,000 emails. As Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch pointed out, but for that, she could well have been president. Many people don't understand why this email scandal was so important, and why I think it may have been blown up out of all proportion. As Secretary of State, Mrs. Clinton was sending and receiving emails of the highest priority, top secret and then some. Normally these are not, how can I put it, there's the regular internet and there are special systems, intranets, internal internets, which governments use. The United States has a couple, 2 or 3 I think. The important one is JWICS, and the information on this is transmitted through high security networks, encrypted and everything, and documents which find their way onto JWICS have to be consulted in SCIFs. Somehow Clinton and her co-conspirators found a way around this. The obvious reason they did this was because she was selling access, which is, if that isn't treason, what is? She was selling access to her husband, who was making speeches all over the place and being highly paid for it. She was selling access to, he was selling access to her at the State Department, and various groups, a couple of right-wing quote-unquote groups have traced the money, as it were. When Clinton failed to, when she was beaten by Trump for the 2016 presidency, donations to the Clinton Foundation dropped massively. So there's obviously an enormous scandal here. It mentions Eric Holder. Holder was impeached. He was involved in this ludicrous Fast and Furious gun running scheme, which resulted in the murder of a federal agent. Lois Lerner admitted targeting groups like the Tea Party. There was a whole scandal here when she was called before Congress to Congress or Senate, the Senate. I think it's Congress, but you'll find the testimony on YouTube. Such as it was, she pleaded fifth, and the whole Obama administration was totally corrupt. Myself, I'm inclined to believe that Obama wasn't the prime mover behind it, but certainly there was enormous corruption there, and it's all been swept under the rug. after sounding off about the alleged corruption of Donald Trump, a man who actually lost money during the presidency and donated his salary to various charities. After sounding off about that, this Muppet goes on to allude to the January 6th insurrection. I mean, it was a riot, disgraceful, but there were agents provocateurs there, in particular Ray Epps, at whom the crowd shouted, "Fed, Fed, Fed." But take a look at these couple of images and ask yourself, was this really an insurrection? Seriously? Then he goes on, this clown goes on to dismiss the Hunter Biden affair as a distraction. As others have pointed out, this isn't really about Hunter Biden, it's about Joe Biden. The United States is being trashed. The southern border's been open. Millions of illegals have flooded across it. Biden, his first day in office, he declared war on the oil industry, and this moron is importing oil from other countries. And China's influence, the Communist Party, is being allowed to grow. Is this all accidental? Are the people who run the Democratic Party and the Biden administration and the FBI, are they so stupid they can't see what's happening? Or is the United States being flushed down the toilet? Anyway, the latest news is that Biden could be, Hunter Biden could be, or is likely to be indicted for something. One Fox News pundit said that he'd turned down a sweetheart deal to pay a hefty fine with no jail time. Now it could be looking a lot more. And these clowns are still pointing the finger at Trump. Russia, Russia, Russia. Absolutely amazing. So anyway, hopefully the Republicans will pick up a lot of seats in the midterms, take back the House, Congress and the Senate. If they don't, well, if we're not looking at the rise of China, we're certainly looking at the downfall of the United States permanently.